If you've been asking God, is this business idea from you? Or is this just me being extra again? Then this video is for you. I'm breaking down 5 biblical signs that God might actually be calling you to start a business. Especially if you're multi-passionate, if you're an overthinker like me, and if you're stuck in analysis paralysis. If you feel a divine frustration in your current season, even if you love your 9 to 5, then this one is for those of you who, like me, actually love your job. You're not sitting in a cubicle daydreaming about the day you can quit. You're not bitter. You're not even burned out. You're not upset about having a 9 to 5. You have a great job actually that you love. In fact, you may be thinking, why would God call me to start a business when I'm already doing what I enjoy? That's exactly where I was. See, I wasn't trying to escape anything. I wasn't chasing trends, and I didn't want to jump on the fire your boss movement or glamorize entrepreneurship like it's the only way to be fulfilled. None of that nonsense. That is not me, and I do not believe in that at all. But I still felt it. It was like a quiet, a holy pull, or a nudge, a divine nudge on the shoulder. And it was something that I couldn't pray away or just work it off. I love my job, my 9 to 5, an invitation to something more. And I started sensing that God was calling me to build something outside of my regular 9 to 5, not to replace it, but to resource it, to resource something deeper. And for me, that deeper thing was empowering people, including teen girls, through life skills training. It is a passion project that really wasn't getting done because life was just too full. And that frustration for me wasn't carnal. It wasn't something that my flesh desired. It was a divine discontent. It was a clue that God had assigned something more for me, and He wasn't going to stop nudging me until I answered the call. The scripture says that it is God who works in you both to will and to do for His good pleasure. Philippians 2:13. That verse reminded me that God doesn't just call us to act, but He's the one who places the will to act inside of us. So if you've been feeling this way, if you're like you're grateful for where you are, but something in your spirit keeps whispering, you were made for more. Something keeps telling you there's something more. And that is not fighting against your 9 to 5. That's not rebellion. That's not greed. That is not chasing trend. That might be God inviting you to create something for Him and with Him. And not everyone is called to leave the workplace. I do not agree with that trend. But some of us are called to build something alongside the workplace because the impact we're called to make doesn't fit inside a job description. And if that point hits home for you, leave a comment down below because I want to know that this is not just impacting me. So number 2, a second way that I know it is God is that you keep getting business ideas that will not leave you alone. And I'm not talking about those random one and done ideas. Okay, I'm talking about the kind of idea that keeps visiting you. It keeps showing up over and over in your quiet time, in your journaling. Those ideas keep coming back and coming back. They show up in your dream. They show up in your prayers. And they show up even on your Pinterest board. God speaks through patterns. And if your ideas keep circling back, do not ignore them. He says, write the vision and make it plain. So if you feel this one, drop a number 2 in the comments to let me know that number 2 is speaking to you at this time. Sometimes maybe you get an idea at the worst possible time, perhaps in the shower. While using the restroom, you get an idea at church or 3 o'clock in the morning. For me, I would be like mid-prayer during my 3 a.m. prayer time, and boom, a business idea comes. Even worshiping at church, and suddenly you get a download and you can't stop writing about how to serve, how to serve this particular group of people. Or just talking to a teen girl about her future, and you feel this overwhelming urge to build something that could bless more than one person. And that is how you know it is God calling you. If the idea is for people first, rather than just for you to make money, okay? So you don't brush it off. Why are you showing me marketing strategies and curriculum outlines? Why? But here's the truth. When an idea keeps resurfacing, especially when it aligns with service, when it is in line with impacting other people, when it is solving problems, it is not just you being too much. It's not you being extra. That is often God speaking through repetition. Remember, the vision is for an appointed time. And though it tarries, he says, wait for it, because it will certainly come and it will not delay. So that recurring idea might be your assigned vision for this season. It may not be forever. It could just be an assignment for the current season. And if you're multi-passionate like me, you might have 10,000 of these recurring ideas. And that's okay. That doesn't make you flaky. It makes you simply, you're full. You're full of ideas. You're full of God. And God is a creative being. But if among all these ideas, there's one that keeps standing out, if there's one that really stirs up your spirit in a different way, if that one idea just will not leave you alone, no matter how much you try to stay focused on your real life, no matter how you try to brush it off, it keeps recurring, it keeps coming back. That might not be your imagination, okay? That might just be God speaking to you. So take heed, be on it. What is that business idea that keeps following you around? I want you to drop it in the comments. It just gives, everywhere you turn, you are hearing it, you are seeing it, you're smelling it. Drop that in the comments so we can know. I want to see what God's been whispering to you. The third way to know if God is actually calling you to start a business is that people are asking you for help, and over they're asking you to help them, and you would gladly do it for free. But what if that free service is actually an assignment he's calling you for you to be paid doing? Remember, the worker is worthy of her wages. So people already come to you for what you would offer without you even trying. They're already asking you, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you help me do this? What do you think of that? They're already calling on you. And this is something that I realized even maybe too late. Before I ever called myself maybe a coach or mentor or whatever, people were coming to me for coaching. Before I charged a dime, people were, always wanting to pick my brain. Can I pick your brain on this? Can I talk to you about this? Can you help me do this? So it's like I had a consulting firm before I ever did. So it wasn't because I was advertising or anything like that. It was because the gift was already at work. And that might be the case for you. Your gift is already at work in you. And so God will send people to you to stir up that gift. You might not even notice it because it comes so naturally. You listen naturally, you give good advice, you help people see things clearly, you solve problems, or just by being you. You do all of these things just by being you. And that is not a coincidence. That's your calling in disguise. That is God calling you to something. What is the thing that people are asking you to help them with and over and over? See, God often allows your calling to be confirmed through community. You're not a person, you're not an island. As they say, no man is an island. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. So you may not have a business yet, but your gift is already opening doors, making space, and drawing people in to you. And some of you, perhaps you've already been working for free for many years, many months. Perhaps you've been doing it since you were a child. You've been doing that. Maybe there's a friend who always texts you for clarity. They want help with this. A woman from church who says, you really should teach this. You really should do this. You really should charge for this. Maybe a coworker once said to you, ever thought about doing this full time, girl? No, listen, God can do that sometimes. God can lead people to help you discover your calling. So when people are drawn to you naturally, when people are drawn to what you naturally do, and when they get results from what you're doing for them, just by you helping them, that's a major sign that you're being used by God already. A business might just be the next level of stewardship for what he's entrusted you. And if that's you, let me know in the comments. Just type up what you've been doing for free. Maybe since you were a child, you've been doing it. Let us know because we want to support you in that. The fourth sign to know for sure that God is calling you to a business is if you feel torn between all your passions. Now, sometimes you feel pulled, doing this, doing that. That's not a confusion. That means you have a large capacity. It just means you're a many-talented woman. Now, the key is choosing the right focus for now. Remember the story In Matthew 25, to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another he gave 1. Each person he gave according to their ability. So perhaps you're a woman with a lot of ability, so he gave you 5. So let me tell you something you might need to hear that I wish I had heard as a teenager. The pull that you feel, that pull in multiple directions, that long list of dreams that you have, that long list of ideas, and that, no, I could totally do that. I could totally do that and that and that. Oh, that thing, that is your capacity. God didn't mess up when he made you multi-passionate. He didn't make a mistake when he made you love so many things. He wasn't being extra when he gave you so many gifts. Maybe you have a teaching gift, you have an eye for fashion, and you love to help people, and you dream of maybe launching a podcast because you love to talk about subjects that are meaningful to you. You want to write books, you want to open a bakery, you want to mentor young girls, and maybe you want to start a nonprofit on the side. And part of you is feeling like, is something wrong with me? Why everybody says pick one thing and focus on one thing? Why do I want to do 100 things? No, nothing is wrong with you. You're just full of potential. You're just full of potential. Now notice that not everyone in that parable in Matthew 25, not everyone got the same number of talent. Some got 5, 2, and 1, but each person got what they had the capacity to carry. If you feel like you've been blessed with too much, you probably have. And that's not a burden. It's just a responsibility that God is calling you to fulfill. The key here is not picking only one thing forever, okay? The key is asking God, what do you want me to focus on right now in this season? So you start with the one assignment that he's highlighting to you for this season. You're not discarding the rest. You just start with the one that he's highlighting now, knowing that you're going to pursue the others soon. So you use that as the doorway, and everything else will flow in time. If you feel like you have multiple passions, multiple interests, drop it in the comments. Let us know. I really want to know. And number 5, the 5th sign to know for sure that God is calling you to start a business is that you love your job, but it doesn't reflect all of who you are or all you're called to be. Let's be clear. I'm not about bashing 9-to-5s. I'm not here to say fire your boss or quit your job tomorrow. In fact, I still love mine. But here's what happened. Even though I enjoyed my work, I felt like I was leaving the best parts of me outside of it. I believe work is a calling. Going to the office, if that's what you do, whatever job, it is a calling. It is part of serving God. I do not believe everyone should have a business. No. But there are times when you feel like your 9-to-5 does not fulfill the best of you, or that your 9-to-5 was leaving those best parts of you outside. And in that, there are gifts maybe you're not using in that job. There were probably ideas you're getting, but you're not able to share them at work. There might have been dreams you keep pushing to the side just to keep up with your day-to-day job. But for me, what really tugged on me was that I had this passion project to empower teen girls with life skills. And that was just one of the things that lit me up. But passion doesn't pay itself. So I had to find something more with that passion. So I started a business, not just to escape my job, because like I said, I love my job, but it was to fund my purpose. The Apostle Peter says, let each of you use whatever gifts you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace. 1 Peter 4:10. So that scripture hit different for me one day when I realized that I was sitting on the gifts that I weren't even using them. I was just sitting on certain gifts that I wasn't using. So if you feel like your job or your degree only shows a piece of who you are, just a little piece, that might be God showing you it's time to make room for more. And if you've ever felt like you were just living in a box that is way too small for your potential, I want to know if that is you and who's still watching this video right now. Leave me a comment and let me know if that feels like you. Now, how do you decide even if you're a multi-passionate person or if you're an indecisive person, how do you decide if God is calling you to start that business? If you're still unsure, here's my quick 5-step training that I give my clients to help them make spirit-led, confident decisions without guilt and without overwhelm, because I know it can be overwhelming. The 5 steps that I give them is step 1, you invite God into the process. We can do nothing without God. So don't just ask God to bless your decision. You want to ask God to lead your decision. Do not make a decision and then talk to God. You talk to God before making a decision. Proverbs 3:6 says, in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Step number 2 is to dump every idea out of your head and into your journal. Just dump it out all on here. Write everything down onto your journal. No, you're not crazy. You're just crowded. You have a lot of ideas. List every idea, every passion, every skill, every dream. No judgment at all. Just write it all down. And step number 3, you want to filter them out. So to filter them, you want to ask these powerful questions, okay? So you would ask, which of these that I wrote down, which of these things will solve problems, a real problem? Which of these uses my God-given gifts? Which of these things will bring peace, even if it seems scary, but it will bring peace to me? Step 4, you want to talk to a mentor. Talk it over with somebody. Sometimes we need help seeing what is obvious to others. Other people can see it, but we can't. Remember, they say you can't see the picture if you're standing in the frame. Is that what? You can't see the picture if you're inside the frame, okay? So talk to somebody. Find a mentor. Find a guide. Someone. Proverbs 11:14 says, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So you want a multitude of godly counselors surrounding you, someone you can ask questions. And finally, step number 5, you want to choose one thing for this season. Now, don't get sad. It's only for a season. You choose one thing. You don't have to choose forever. Just choose one thing and go forward with that one thing. Then you can go to the other one. And if that just gave you a little piece, leave an emoji in the comments, because I want to know if that speaks to you at all. Now, if you're still not sure that God is calling you to start a business, you don't know, you're not sure, I created something just for you. It's a one-on-one purpose discovery and business coaching session where we will walk through this together. If you're stuck between options, you're afraid of moving forward, or you just don't know what to do, this is your safe space. The link is below. And this is for those who perhaps you already know God's calling, but you're not clear on what to do or how to start. Grab a seat in my free Business Clarity Bootcamp. And this is where we will map up your next step, not just your dream, your someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that. We literally map up what is next and when you will do it. There's no pressure. It's just spirit-led clarity that we will help you to find. So remember, you're never meant to play small. Just because you're passionate about many things, that doesn't mean you should do nothing. I know this is how for multi-passionate people, we get so overwhelmed that we just refuse to do anything, but this is not God's will for you. God designed you that way for a reason. So what if the business idea isn't just yours? What if it's his answer to someone else's prayer? The next move is not for you to figure it all out. The next move is for you to say yes to the first step. Thank you for watching.